Hey folks, we're cutting more trees. Right now we are in high fire danger. Likely in the very near future we could be jumping up to very high fire danger. Been several forest fires in the state. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but nothing to really do anything. And the time I've had this property, been working on trying to get trees cut back. Number one, for firewood. Number two, to open things up. Number three, to push stuff back because of fire risk. Been working on making a hole here. We're not cutting down good hardwoods. We're going to keep them because they're pretty sporadic. If you look on the ground, any dead stuff on the ground, blowdowns like this, that is all excellent food for wildfires right there. So what happens is you get a lot of heat down on the ground from all this ground fuel, which then heats the air above it. Then you have dry stuff on trees like this, and then up she goes. And then it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter and progresses. We don't want that. Looking up toward the back of the garage, it looks worse than it is. That's just that little growth. And the big stuff starts about 30, 40 feet behind it, which some people say, oh, that's plenty sufficient. No, you get something ripping down through here, and you get a lot of heat going. 30, 40 feet is not sufficient to keep heat away from a building. So we want to get this mess cleaned back to be able to have defense and be able to keep the heat and the fire away from structures. Stuff like that ground fuel, that dead stuff, that little blowdown. Oh yeah, that is just like dumping gasoline on a wildfire. Dave and me both have wildland fire experience. Back in the day, we both did work with the Maine Forest Service on the hot shot crew, along with the local fire departments. But the hot shot crew, our mission was, if there was a woods fire, we would be called. We were a special crew who was called out just for wildland firefighting. And it was through the Maine Forest Service. So we would get a call, get told, here's what we need you to do. Either go straight to the scene or go here and get this equipment, whatever. Then go to the scene with it. And we'd go to the scene and be issued orders from there. Run this dozer, make a line. You're in there with Indian tanks. You're running 1-inch line. You're doing this, you're doing that. And that was our job. That's what we did. I do miss those days. For example, if the fire was coming toward us from that direction, and let's say the wind was blowing it from that direction, with all this fuel in here, it has a chance to build heat. Building that heat gives it a chance to pick up momentum, picks up speed. We don't want that. So by getting this all out of here, and we will be raking all this mess up with a tractor, by getting it out of here and pushing it back, when it hits wherever the wood line is and it runs out of fuel, it loses the fuel, it loses the heat, it loses that momentum. It's going to stop. You might get some cinders falling down onto the ground. You might get small spot fires, but it can't do much because there's no fuel or very little fuel, and it's a lot easier to deal with it. Many years ago, I worked a wildfire on a peninsula, and it was started from a blueberry burn that was a failure to extinguish. So we were put below the fire, with the fire coming toward us, with the assignment to protect a couple of houses. And we had a dump tank and a portable pump, and there was 4 or 5 of us there on that crew. 2 houses and a garage. One way in, one way out of this peninsula, other than swimming. So we got the word on the radio late that afternoon that the fire had come across the road and we were trapped in there. Oh, okay. So we all discussed it, said, well, we're not getting out, we're trapped. And here's our plan. So we figured out what we were gonna do was we only had like 1,000 gallons of water, and that don't last long. And if the fire crowned the trees, which means she comes rolling over the top of the trees, you're not going to do a freaking thing with a portable pump and 1,000 gallons of water. That's just like pissing on it. So if worse came to worse, everybody meet in the driveway. And we had one air pack. And we were going to buddy breathe that air pack. So we were going to share that air pack. And as a group, work our way to the ocean, which the ocean was only maybe 100, 150 feet away, and go swimming. That was the plan, to get out of there. Well, fortunately, it did not come down to that. Fortunately, the crews and the forestry service with chopper and the Bambi bucket were able to knock it down not far before it came over top of us. So we got pretty lucky in that aspect. But yeah, that would have been an interesting time, having to congregate, buddy breathe an air pack, and go jump in the ocean. But at least we had a way out. Unorthodox, but you know what? Jumping in the ocean is a lot better than frying. Not trying to manicure it, just trying to get the bulk of it dragged out of there so I'm not tripping over it. That rake is the best idea Dave ever had, I think. Ultimate goal down in there is to make it bush hoggable. Not gonna try and do it with a lawnmower, but we'll get the big stumps ground down, dug out something so that we can just back in there with a bush hog once or twice a year just to keep the little growth from growing up. Excellent forest fire food right there. Perfect stuff. All that stuff on the ground. Oh yeah, she would love it. Love it, love it, love it. And that, get that going, get that heat going down low. Start heating up above. Oh yeah, baby. Now compared to where I raked that out before, there's really no fuel there, is there? that, huh? She's changing. So I'm gonna start working back a little bit. All that scrub brush, whack that out with a brush saw maybe next weekend or something. Start cleaning this mess out. This was a dairy farm back in its day. I think I just found some remnants. Not sure what it was. Something. I'm still waiting to dig up some cow bones or something. There's got to be cows buried around here somewhere. Getting pushed back there. Gaining on it. Got a big dead one right there. It's on the ground. Get that chunked up and dragged out. And keep on keeping on. What a difference from this morning. I am friggin' beat. Looking better though. Getting access to bigger trees for firewood. Here's where I left you off last time. Let's see how much further we can make it on this shot. Working my way down through here, back into the little scrub brush, trying to make a hole. Well, I've made it back in there a ways. So what I'm trying to do is horseshoe the building here. I gotta bring the brush saw and knock this little scrub stuff down. Just trying to work in close, make a hole, then start pushing further away. It's next week. Well, I've got quite a bit of the scrub brush, little crap, spindly junk out of here last week. So I've got landing zones, fall zones for bigger stuff now. So now I'm working on getting some bigger stuff on the ground. Look at that. That massive brush pile disappeared. It was just enough rain that dropped the fire danger down to moderate, so Dave got a burn permit, and him and some guys from the fire department, they torched this thing the other night, so they got rid of the mess. Now it's time to make another mess. There, got the brush up along the back wall here knocked down. Still gotta drag a little bit of it out. I just couldn't get it with a tractor. Trying to get up this bank. That's all right. Looking a lot different down through there. All that brush that was there is all gone, raked out. I'm down in there with the rake right now, dragging some mess out. Notice the ground fuel is gone. Yeah, sure, there's still a little bit of junk laying there. Still gonna clean it up some. But no ground fuel, it's hard for the momentum to build up. It's hard for that heat to get built underneath taller trees. So therefore, things will burn a lot slower. Even if cinders fall down on the ground, there's nothing there to burn. Fire danger is high again. supposed to have a little bit of rain tomorrow night or something. Not going to do much. But yeah, having a good buffer is definitely a helpful thing if something starts ripping. So this is a good start through the fall. Just going to keep picking away at it. Just keep pushing stuff back. I'm going to leave the nice trees, the maples, the ground fuel. That's the big thing. That ground fuel, that dry stuff. Getting that crap out of here. A few maple trees here and there, them aren't just going to go poof and burn. So get rid of the fuel, get rid of the momentum, get rid of the heat. And it's going to be a real slow burn if something happens. Catch you later on.